Calling all sports with Rockin' Manooch with Jimmy B. Proudly sponsored by On Air Sports Marketing. And is powered by the injury attorneys Lerner and Rowe. In a wreck and need a check? Make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. And always online at lernerandrowe.com. Now time for
You're live.
All Sports with Rockin' Manooch with Jimmy B. On Fox Sports 910.
You know, lately we've been very fortunate where we do our show on remote. Just 2 weeks ago, we were out at the casino, and Charles Barkley pops in and wants to sit with us for about a half hour. Today, we're at Wright Toyota, and Jake Plummer walked in, and he's here visiting with us as he was earlier this morning with Jody.
Oh, man.
Jake Plummer joins us here on Fox Sports 910. First of all, thank you for making the time to come down. And you here for the big KU game?
Yeah, I came down for the game and to see some friends and did a little work, coming on the radio. And I'm like hyped that, you mentioned the round mound and rebound, man. Charles Barkley, one of my favorite ever, not only players before I met him, but also after meeting him. Like, what an awesome dude. So glad to follow up that guy with the drop in on your guys' show. So thanks for having me come join you. I'm out just having a fun time and definitely down to see the Devils play.
Yeah.
Really is what got this trip initiated, and then to do some work along the side.
Your thoughts initially on Dillingham and what he's been able to do in just a short time. I think 3-1 is pretty good. I think some people thought maybe 500 at this point. That Mississippi win was huge, and they have a great opportunity to get a Kansas team that's struggling right now. Yeah,
I really like his consistency. I mean, his message and his energy and the way he is talking about what they want to do here hasn't changed, whether they're 3-1 or 1-3.
Yeah,
and I think the players need to see that as in a very inconsistent world of college football where, Levitt could leave next year if he's not happy here. And it's like, wait a sec, you just were showing us something. And so, it's very nice to see a head coach be consistent in what he's preaching. The players seem to be queuing in a little bit. And I mentioned Sam we got a guy back there I think people can believe in a little bit, who's showing me some fire and some passion and some energy. And no, he's not perfect, but I'm not looking for perfection. I want someone that actually looks like they care about what they're doing.
Sure.
And so I like to see that. And it seems like his coaching staff has gotten better, more improved. 3-1, what a great start. They were picked to finish in the basement of the Big 12. Did I just say Big 12?
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Welcome to Big Boy Ball, Jay.
Yeah, we're big boy ball now. It's great, though. I love it. Hey, as long as they're showing up, I've always just been more of a fan of put a product out that I want to turn the TV on and watch. And right now, I'm wanting to watch the Sun Devils because they got some guys out there showing me that they care about what they're doing.
Speaking of Sam Levitt, when your freshman year, you come to ASU and it's big boy ball. I mean, here you are, you're scrambling, you're running, you're doing all these things. What advice would you have for this young man when you're playing the best of the best each and every week?
Just keep going about your business, man. Be consistent. One thing I did was it didn't matter game or practice or walkthrough or whatever. I'm going to go give you my all every time. So as the leader of the team, as the quarterback, bad guy back there, calling the shots and managing the ball and managing the offense, you got to be consistent. That's not just in the games, but you got to show up at the building. You got to show up at workouts. You got to show up for the meetings. You got to show up for your players. You got to show up for the staff. You got to be pretty all-encompassing as a quarterback. I mean, you really aren't just the guy back there throwing and handing the ball off. You kind of transcend the whole building. And so you don't go have some manuscript showing you how. You just go, if you're a good person and you know how to treat humans right and you're human yourself, then you can go out there and make a difference by just being a human being that says hi to somebody that maybe is a janitor,
And, you think back, and we all think back that big Rose Bowl. I mean, that Rose Bowl, and unfortunately you guys lost. But at what point when you start to get it for a young quarterback, and you guys that was a phenomenal team that year, and to follow up short in the Rose Bowl. But talk about that year, how Coach Snyder built that team to where you guys got to the point where the confidence and all came together.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the work that was shown on the field that senior year, a lot of that work was done years prior, and especially like my junior year, we had a really solid group of leaders that were seniors. Ryan Wood was one of those, fullback that we talked. He was my roommate, and we decided we would propose to Coach Snyder a leadership council. So each position group would have one person that would answer for the group. And so I was in charge of the quarterbacks. If there was an issue with the QBs, one of them wasn't going to school, going to class, or had a issue with a girlfriend or anything, we would handle it. And if we needed to, then we would go to our coaches and say, hey, I need help here. So-and-so is doing this. Can you step in? Instead of bothering them with all that crap that they don't need to deal with, they let us take control of that. Also, kind of take control of working out without the coaches coming around, like taking it upon ourselves to do the work. And that showed the coaches that we were serious, and that Bruce let us do this was really cool. So each position had one guy that was the main focal guy of that group. Like Sean Sueda was our D lineman guy. So Sean demanded a certain level of showing up, whether that was mat drills in the morning, the weight room, getting to meetings on time, taking care of each other out and about in town after a game when we're out maybe having a little fun.
Mm-hmm.
Watch out for each other. Like, let's step up as players and take this upon us to show the coaches that it matters to us. And so that really was a big step for our senior year, to be that off season, to kind of go into it saying, we're real close. I mean, we should have beat U of A at home. Should have been to a bowl game. It didn't happen. That really stung bad. And so we all stayed here that summer. I challenged the whole team. If you want a Rose Bowl, I showed them a rose at our player-only meeting, and you stick around. No one should leave this summer if this is what we want. And the whole team stayed, and we worked hard. We had a lot of fun, and we had a hell of a season. So that it was that magical, we wouldn't have known. We couldn't tell you. But we believed in each other, and that was really from the top down. Bruce Snyder giving us that ability to be our own regulators, our own like leaders, and take care of things.
He allowed you guys the accountability factor.
Yes, totally. And then it became our team. We were responsible for all this stuff. Instead of having them hold guys' hands and take them to class, it was like, okay, who can I pick up on the way to school? Sure. I'm driving by 3 guys' apartments. Let's go. Get in my car. I'll get you to campus. Now you can either go to class or not, but I mean, I'm getting you there. Now it's on you. So we just took it upon ourselves. Yeah, be accountable. Good work.
Jay Plummer joining us here, Rocket Minutia with Jimmy B, Fox Sports 910 at Wright Toyota. There's been a lot of players, former players, Reggie Bush and Terrell Pryor and guys like that are now trying to get compensation for when they played. Mm-hmm. Your thoughts on that? You were a superstar at Arizona State. Arizona State was able to bring a lot of people in because of your success. Do you feel it's worthy of players, former players, to now go back and say, hey, look where all this money's coming in now. We want to share because of when we played?
I don't know. You're always going to get guys wanting to go back. I would tell them get a hold of Lynn Madsen up at UW in Washington, who's wanting to start the College Football Alumni Association for this exact reason. So not only us, but every player that comes out of college, there's no association for us to join where we're represented, and not represented to get deals from places, but represented as a group to like band together and show that we got marketability. We have the ability to to be involved in charitable events. We got a way to do this. So there's something brewing there already.
Okay.
I was just talking about that earlier about ASU still makes money on the Rose Bowl team and my name, image, and likeness. But I mean, I never played the game for the money. And it wasn't like I'm trying to go back and recapture $100,000 of memorabilia sold here at ASU. Like, I just want to carry on that tradition and like what we did and why I came to ASU. I turned down offers in other places that had storied histories and schools that you see in the championship games. But I came here because I never saw that. And when I left, I wanted to leave and had made a definite mark in my time here. And that happened by chance, by Bruce giving me the confidence, by that staff believing in all of us. So yeah, it's interesting. These guys, maybe they mismanaged their money and now they need some dough.
Could be. Exactly.
And it's somewhat like the total and permanent disability that these guys try to get in the NFL. A lot of them are younger than I am, didn't play as long. They're not that beat up, but they want that money. They need that money. It's like, do you really want to be totally and permanently disabled? Like, that's what I am shocked. You could tell me I'll give you money for that. And I'm like, no, thank you. I don't want to be totally and permanently
And then you see the scenario up in Las Vegas last week with the quarterback say, hey, look, I was promised this Slumbo kid. He left 3-0. They left, and then they spanked. I forget who they spanked last. They're 4-0 now. You see that side of it, the NIL. Yeah. But when a kid's 3-0 and you're leaving your team because you didn't get this or whatever, I'm like, what? I mean, I grew up in an era, and I think you did too. That's my team, no matter what. Yep. Let's try to get that worked out. He said, she said, we'll get it figured out. To leave the team and up and go and think you're going to get more. I knew you came in from Holy Cross. I think a lot of this there's got to be some kind of mediation in the middle to make sure that these things are handled properly.
Yeah, I mean, I think football is a means to an end now where you can make a living. You know, you can go
Exactly.
play ball
Yeah.
and make money. Like, I didn't come to ASU to make money. I came to ASU to try to win a national
Sure.
championship.
Yeah.
Bruce Snyder was the only coach that said, if you come to ASU, we feel you're an integral piece of the puzzle to win a national championship. Sign me up.
Sure.
And I never played in the league for the money. When they renegotiated my first contract here in Arizona, I was like, hey, it was on my birthday and I was going to bed. It was a Friday night because the night before is when you need the best night's sleep.
Yes.
Because it's hard to sleep
Yes,
before a game.
it is.
But the night before, usually you can get some sleep. So I was like telling Lee Steinberg and Dave Dunn, like, hey, I need to go to sleep. Figure it out.
Yeah.
And they're telling me we got him up to 10. And I'm like, 10 what? 10 million? Holy okay, that's good. Where do I sign? We can get more. I was like, oh, whatever. I just wanted to play ball. I had a dream to win a Super Bowl, and I just wanted to leave the game healthy and with the respect that I garnered for being a good teammate,
your
a great
mark.
player. Yeah, it never was for the money. Now, they paid me way more than I ever expected. It gave me financial freedom. It allowed me to do a lot of fun, cool things, to help out a lot of people. And I'm blessed by that. Thank you. But I don't need more. I mean, what do we need more for? We could all live on a lot less.
Yeah,
really.
absolutely.
So the NIL is really, it's interesting because, like you said, who's representing these young athletes? There's no one out there. There's no lawyers set up. There's no agencies that are vetted to do it in an honest way. And so they can be taken advantage of. They can be given false promises. And leaving it 3-0 with the promise of being paid money, like, kudos to that kid.
Yeah.
Like, they told you they're going to pay you,
Yeah.
so you went. They should pay you because they should hold up their end of the bargain. And if they're not, then that's a big institution that's showing their colors. So it's a slippery slope, and hopefully they can manage it somehow. Get these kids some money put aside for their health insurance when they turn 48. And that's a long ways. That's 20 years plus down the road.
Yeah.
And none of them are taking the money they're earning right now and doing that with it. They're all probably having fun with it, and I just worry that they don't understand the value yet of that money and how much they could set it aside and create a nest egg that will help them down when they need it 20, 30 years down the road when body parts start hurting a little bit more, or you need to get some help.
And that's where your company plays into this too, where you can help some of these former athletes, and we'll get into that in just a few minutes. I do want to ask you your thoughts because of your time in Denver, and I know you've been interviewed about Bo Nix, and I know earlier this summer, you were supporting him. Come on, team, you guys need to support him. How do you feel they've done so far? I mean, I know last week they went into New York and upset the Jets. I don't think a lot of people saw that, and you think he's the real deal? I mean, you like what you see so far?
I don't know. I mean, everybody, this over analytical process of everybody's games and stats and all this, and like it's about winning and losing in my book.
Yep.
And Dan, how hard it is to throw a ball in the rain.
It is.
And it's not fun to play in the Meadowlands against the Jets. The Giants fans, they're pretty rough. The Jets fans are much different. So he goes in there against one of the greatest players in the history of the game across the field from him. Regardless of Jets versus Broncos, it's Bo and Aaron everybody's focused on. He looked pretty bad in the first half. Yeah. But I'll tell you this, he strategically missed on a lot of those throws. When it's rainy and you're taking risks, he wasn't taking really bad risks. He was missing into strategic places. This is my take on it. Maybe he was just lucky it spun out that way.
We call those good misses.
Yes, he's had a few other times where the ball was not wet where he had good misses.
Yes.
I think he has extreme accuracy that once we see him get comfortable with his eyes being downfield more, not seeing what's going on in front of him, because the first two games, from a quarterback's perspective, when you start leaking back and to your left, your eyes just went down, and now you're going, oh no, they're coming at me. Because you don't do that. If your eyes are downfield, you're stepping up if you can. And so I've seen it him move from that to the game against Tampa. He looked really good. I'd like to think he went and told Coach Payton, like, stop throwing screens and crossing routes. Let me throw the ball downfield. I've done this in college. Let me do it here. Because the playbook seemed to open. And now that second half, he came out and made some big time throws when they needed it most to help them win the game. So that's all I'm looking at, is that he strategically missed in a game where you want to be careful with the ball and not have turnovers. He did a hell of a job there. but then he also made some really big time throws when it mattered. So I like his progression.
Okay.
The defense is stepping up. The run game stepped up. Everyone around him raised their level a little bit because that's what a rookie needs. We don't need you to go gangbusters every week better. We just need everyone a little bit better, and then that allows him to have a few bad plays here and there. But I like Bo. I think he's got a ton of talent, arm strength, accuracy, scrambling ability.
Yes.
He's got all the tools. Now it's just a matter of, him getting the opportunities.
How long do you stay with a quarterback? Kyler Murray, 6 year, still he's regressed in some areas, but he'll have a great game and then he'll have a bad game. What's your take on him at this point in his career?
I don't know enough. I'm not in that building much.
Yeah.
I've met Kyler, crossed paths with him in the facility a while back. You hear all kinds of stuff. I know that he's made more of an effort to be a team guy and be involved. Only an organization knows if they have the right leader in place for that position, because we fired head coaches here in Arizona and kept the quarterback. Mm-hmm. So someone told me that early in my career, don't forget how important you are to this franchise. You're number 2 behind the owner. I'm like, no, what? And they're like, they will fire GMs and coaches and keep you.
But that got your attention.
Yes.
That you went,
yes.
This is
I said, okay,
business.
I better make sure I handle myself right. Now, I wasn't perfect.
Sure.
I made some mistakes out in public. I did some things on the field. But one thing I did was I led, and I was there. And no matter what, my guys knew Jake's doing it. He's on it. He's busting his ass. I'm going to do the same thing. So I don't know how much of a leader Kyler Murray is. If he is that leader, then let's all, 6 years, 8 years, 10 years, doesn't matter. We're looking for just a good season here to make the playoffs. I was doing the math earlier with my buddy Tim Gates, and we were like, since 47, I think they've made the playoffs. Was it 10 times?
Give or take, yeah.
10 times?
Yeah.
That's a long time to only make the playoffs for 10 years. And I'm not bad-mouthing them, because when we made it in 98, it was the first time in the Valley. We won a playoff game. It was the first one in 50 years.
Awesome.
I tell people I won a Super Bowl, but I didn't get a ring, because that win was just about as important as a Super Bowl for this organization.
Yeah, stadium.
Remember, I don't know where they would be. They may be the LA Cardinals at this
moment.
Right. So
you nailed it.
That year was huge, and I loved it. I had a great time, and I did all I could for that organization, and they paid me a lot, and I'm grateful for all of that. And I still talk with Mike, and I love it when they're doing well. But only they know if they got the right leader. I don't know. I'm not a teammate of his, so I can't really speak on that. He's a phenomenal talent. Good God, he can throw the rock anywhere. He has amazing scrambling ability. But you got to be a leader as a quarterback. You got to be vulnerable at times when you need to be, and show your guys you can bounce back and be right there with them.
You brought up earlier the Jets, a tough fan base. as you kind of look at your career with Arizona and of course Denver, what was the toughest fan base on you?
Oh, Philly was pretty raunchy, but I had some magical times in Philly, and then they asked me, what is it about Philly? And I was like, man, it's Pat's two with it, Pat's, cheesesteak sandwich. And now the fans were like, all right, you're one of us now. So they were rough on me, but then they still liked me because I ate at Pat's before the games.
They respected you.
They had a little more respect, right? The Raiders, the black hole. Oakland. It's really sad. I still can't say Las Vegas Raiders. It doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
That place to play was, God, their fans were just nasty. They were mean. Even older ladies that were grandmother age were flipping me off, cussing me out before a game, and all I did was wave at them. I handed the ball to a kid in the stands one time, and they came over and dudes threw beer on me. And I'm like, I'm giving the kid a ball. You guys are nasty. And that field wasn't nice. Remember playing there when it was still a dirt infield. Yeah, but that town loved their team, and I respect that.
Yeah.
And, great organizations have a pretty rabid fan base. All the good ones have it. Kansas City, another tough place to play because they're so loud.
Big time.
Not just on third down. They're loud on all 3 downs. So you got to be ready to play there. And, good places.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back with Jake Plummer here on Fox Sports 910. We've talked to you quite a bit over the years about mushrooms and some of the products that you've gotten. And this company of yours has really taken off. Because I remember when we had you on the air, this is years ago, you were just kind of getting into it. Yeah. And it seems like for the last I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years, it seems like you've had to do a lot of education, right? You feel
Still
like
doing education.
really,
Yeah,
you
big
are.
time. As things go with mushrooms, people forget that they do get them on their pizzas and once in a while,
Yes,
like mushroom
salads.
soup or on their salads. And they now are focused on, psilocybin, a psychedelic mushroom
Yeah.
that actually will give you a psychoactive component in it that will make you hallucinate. And they're using it for purpose. They're using it in high doses to help military vets or people with addiction that can't cure their addictions, depression, and they're having a lot of really great research and positives come out of that. We are the complete opposite spectrum. It's sort of like when I was doing Charlotte's Web and working with hemp and marijuana. So there was a big difference. Like I'd say, hey, you want to try some Charlotte's Web hemp oil? They're like, no, man, I don't want to get high. I'm like, this is non-psychoactive. This is just, it's another plant. I always would say like marijuana is the party downtown and hemp is stay at home and study.
Sure.
I mean, it's just like but it has a lot of benefits for the body. So we're in the same boat of educating people on the difference between gourmet mushrooms like oysters, shiitake. You got lion's mane is another just brilliant gourmet mushroom. You cook it up, it tastes like lobster kind of. It's so good. Then you're talking about psychedelic mushrooms, which there's a lot of those like in the news, and then functional mushrooms. That's what I'm dealing with is functional, legal, non-psychoactive mushrooms. We sell our bars at REI and other local stores. We're gearing up.
When did you get in REI?
We got into that. I was playing handball with my buddy George and handing out bars. That's what I do. I walk around handing out bars.
We have some here.
And he comes back one day. He's like, hey, my wife wants to talk to you. She runs the Boulder REI. And she loves your bars. And so I was like, cool, let's chat. Boom, we're in REI. And then awesome. REI said they wanted to have a natural brand, a natural wellness section, and they wanted our bar to be featured in it. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's just random. I mean, generosity can do a lot of things for you. And that's something I've learned through my career and everything. But this is something that it's educational again. It's people, we could sit here for an hour or two talking about mushrooms and the benefits and what lion's mane can do for neuronal repair and growth and what turkey tail can do for your gut health and what cordyceps can do for athletes for oxygenating your cells and giving you energy and blood flow. But if people want to know, they can go to getumbo.com and if you sign up for our newsletter, we got a functional mushroom playbook that breaks it down in kind of in sports terms in a way to give you an idea of why you should use these, how you should use them, when, what they can do for you. Because this isn't for everybody yet, but it's moving that way as people start to go, man, I'm achy. I'm taking this stuff, but I'm still achy. I'm still tired. I'm groggy. This is just nature. It's purely just nature. I grow a lot of these at our farm, Michael Love. I have a farm where we're growing these. I go out there and work a lot and we extract them at the lab. So this is like me getting involved in an open category where there's not a lot of regulations. So you can buy product A that may be saying it has mushrooms in it and it's mycelium on grain. And I'm speaking weird language now to the sports fans. So, mycelium is the white stuff under the ground. It's like we know there's a benefit, but we don't know how much.
Okay.
But the fruiting body, like when you see a mushroom come out of the ground, like that's what we're dealing with. And we're extracting at a high level, putting potent, really good nutrient-rich products out there. So I'm a firm believer because it's helped me. And I know I've got you guys some products and Rock said you've tried.
Oh yeah.
You have to try it in order to like feel it and believe it. And that's the challenge.
So let me ask you, for sports radio listeners, the numbers tell us it's a average is a 45-year-old. Okay. It's more of an older demographic. So as somebody that's, I'm in my 50s, 60s, you're soon to be 50.
I'll be 50 this year.
I think we're an exceptional candidate for you in a lot of ways. It's the aching. I mean, I just was at a place called Stretch Lab before the show, right? And, but tell us where this can help someone that's 45. For us, we aching or sore, or you wake up, man, where'd that come from? Or sleep, which I think is the big one.
Yeah.
We all know we need sleep. And, I'm up 3 in the morning. Really Minuch doesn't go to bed until 1, so
2.
Tell us some of the products that could help.
Well, you mentioned sleep. I'll go with our bestseller, our most highly reviewed 5 stars across the board, which is our replenishing sleep, which is lion's mane, reishi, and herb called L-theanine, a supplement, and it helps induce a state of calm. It's non-drowsy.
Okay.
I could take one right now and I'd be fine to go function the rest of the day. What it does is it initiates your nervous system to calm down. The reishi is very good at calming your nervous system down. It also reishi has ganoderic acid in it that's good for your allergies. Like I have a cat now because I don't have allergies anymore. It's
See, Rock,
amazing.
anot's got a cat.
I brought up a subject.
It's another day.
We got Maddie. Love her to death.
What happened to Miss Bell or whatever you had?
She passed.
All right.
Anyway.
My dog's
even
name's
pets,
Guinness.
even
so.
pets are benefiting from these too. Just FYI for pet lovers. Like there are
I will-
companies using mushrooms for pet treats.
Let's talk about that because
but I have to
CBD.
mention lion's mane.
Okay,
as
go
an
ahead.
anti-inflammatory, really strong for the body and for neuronal growth and repair and for brain health and cognition. So this isn't me coming out with this, we just found this new information. In China and Japan, they've been using these for centuries. This is time-tested, ancient, natural intelligence. We're all about AI these days. This is NI. This is natural intelligence. This is it's an organism that has its own kingdom that has been serving humans for a long, long time. I'm just a conduit to bring this to the people that want to hear it. You may not be listening anymore right now. You're like, Jake's talking about tripping out on mushrooms. You know what? You'll be tripping on one thing, how good you can feel by taking your health in your own hands.
We are, we want urgency. We want things to happen fast. What is the process typically? When will you start seeing the benefits or feeling the benefits?
Our sleep product is the one people feel most usually right away.
Okay.
And then it takes some time. This is not a high-powered pharmaceutical drug manufactured to mask all of your pain and symptoms, but not go to the root of any of the cause.
Okay.
This is something that through consistency over time equals results. So the more you take this, it's like a food group. Basically, it is a food group. Mm-hmm. And we've, in our culture, developed mycophobia, which is a fear of mushrooms, because there are some in your yard that grow that can kill you if you eat them. There's some that can heal you, and there's some that can take you on a psychedelic, crazy journey. So you have to treat these with the reverence they deserve and not just, mushrooms, like you have to be smart. Don't eat raw mushrooms at a salad bar ever again. Yeah. They have an indigestible thing in them called chitin that comes in the exoskeleton of insects and mollusks. Our stomach doesn't have to digest it. We can't digest chitinase. We don't have chitinase in our digestive system. So you get a stomach ache, which a lot of people, that's why they don't want to eat mushrooms.
Sure.
So yeah, we're trying to change the narrative. It's been a fun journey.
Interesting.
The neurological piece that's, I think a lot of football players that took a lot of hits. You develop an anxiousness. I developed about 20 years ago. I had no idea where it was coming from. I'd wake up going, I got to go do this, and this. And all of a sudden I started doing the CBD oil. Rock turned me on to the CBD oil.
Good deal.
So you talk about
it was Charlotte's Web.
Charlotte's Web at the time, yeah.
60 Minutes did that piece on it many years ago. And and then you started
right
talking about
started working with athletes because they weren't listening to the mothers.
Yeah,
It helped
exactly.
me immensely. So when you say the triggers, the neurological ways of reducing the anxiousness and the sleepies, a lot of athletes, soccer players, hockey players, a lot of head contact people, they don't know where this anxiousness or these issues are coming from, how that affects and how that calms. And for me, since I started over 6 years ago, I don't have that anxiousness anymore. It's amazing to me to hear that that's being involved with the neurological piece.
Yeah, I mean, I tell a lot of guys right away, like first thing you can do without anybody telling you or giving you a prescription is drink good water, clean good water, eat better food, and get good sleep. Those are three things that your doctor probably won't even tell you. But if you do those three things, then you may be ready to step to the next level of trying to supplement or an additional food group, nutritional group like functional mushrooms. We're doing a study right now because data is where it's at in our world. If you have data, then people will listen. But we're studying and researching lion's mane with some former players back in Colorado to help reverse cognitive decline and improve physical dysfunction, because the narrative is set, Dan, for you have enough concussions.
Yeah.
What do you got to look forward to? This disease they came up with called chronic traumatic encephalopathy. That's scary.
Sure.
It's really scary. That could cause a lot of anxiety. So like even just doing some breath work and breathing can help you calm yourself down. These are just another additional thing you can add to your daily routine. And then you get to see how they benefit you. We've had some people whose blood pressure has regulated for the first time in 30 years. And I didn't know that was going to be one of the results, but that's something we're finding out. We're doing the research. We're collecting the data. The more we grow as a company, the more fun we get to go approach some of these things we're dealing with as a society and put nature behind it first. Like, hey, here's a chance for you to try nature before you go to a doctor. I don't want to say doctors are bad in any way, but some of them go right to the script book, and you got to look into, you got to do the research yourself. It's today's day and age. There's all the information you need.
It's the holistic way, not nature, synthetic drugs or what have you. And my question for you is, when will the National Football League start looking at the benefits of the CBDs, of the THCs, and the
functional mushrooms?
Well, they already lowered the tolerance level for marijuana, and THC, which obviously I get that they have to.
But it seems like they're still the archaic way behind when we're all seeing benefactors.
They are not very excited about pursuing that. What they're trying to do is expand into London and expand into Germany and grow even bigger. So we have to bring them the data. We have to collect it ourselves. We have to do mass studies with former players, which is what I'm in the process of doing right now. I hope to gain any of the guys listening out there, pay attention. I'm going to be reaching out because I want to do a large scale study using functional mushrooms to reverse cognitive decline and physical dysfunction. If we get the data back and we show that we can do this with nature, then I hand it over to the NFL and say, here you go. And then everybody knows. And so that's my goal. I mean, I'm hoping that this all comes to, we need funding. We need people to help. We need everybody to come to the fight here, because the narrative isn't very exciting to think about your 60, 70, 80 years old down the road. I hear a lot of guys, when I tell them I want to live till I'm 110, they're like, why would you want to do that? You'll be a mess. I'm like, don't say that about me. You might be a mess at 70, but I don't want to be like that. I feel like there's a way we can chart a path towards better health. And it starts with just people being curious and listening, and like this kind of an opportunity to talk with you guys on this show. Thank you.
So Jake, if somebody wants to put their toe in the water, they want to just crawl, walk, run, what do you recommend?
Our capsules are probably the easiest way to get into it, because our society knows capsules and pills.
Yeah.
Our Rise is another natural product that gives you energy. Cordyceps, the mushroom, is a vasodilator. It works at a cellular level, gives you sustained energy with no crash. Try that out. Try our bars for one, because you may not like. So I don't like mushrooms. Try our bars. They're 2.5 grams of mushrooms in that each single bar, which is more than you'll get with coffees and any of that. This is a potent product. You can go to getumbo.com, like I said, sign up for our newsletter. If you want to come up with a code, we could come up with a code for your fans and the listeners to try it out. Whatever you want,
That'd be great.
Make it happen. I mean, people have to listen and be curious and want to try something new, but understand, like, I'm not out here trying to put more money in my pocket. Obviously, if I was, I'd be following Reggie Bush and those guys, going back to ASU and saying, whoa, I'm on that t-shirt you're selling down at there. I want a cut of that. Like, that's not me. I want to help players, start with the players, then let other people benefit from this beautiful organism. So
before we let you go, what are you doing for fun? What does Jake Plummer do for fun now?
Oh man.
I know handball is a big part of your life.
Yeah. Handball, when I do it, but it's always seemed like I always injure myself playing handball. And it's so fun, and it's horrible. The worst thing ever, because it's like, I want to play every day. So I've started playing a lot of pickleball, which is super fun. Same thing. I mean, it's like, and I play a lot of ping pong with my kids. And I spend a lot of time with my 2 boys and my daughter. We have a lot of fun. So I'm doing a lot of things, a lot of fun stuff. Living in Boulder, I can ride my bike a lot of places. I do a lot of yoga. This isn't, we talk about the mushrooms, but there's lifestyle shifts that people have to make, and from former players, a lot of them heavy drinkers. They don't eat very well. They may not sleep that well. There's little changes here that can result in big differences. And so, for me, this is fun. I mean, I love coming down here and getting to speak to the Valley of the Sun. This place has welcomed me back, always treated me so well when I was here. And I'm just glad to be able to come back and spread this message. I'm passionate about it. I think you can feel that. It's an opportunity that has come from my playing days and having a voice to speak on something, I'm not going to endorse Pepsi Cola and Sprite and KFC. That's for other guys that want money. I want to speak on what can help people, and that's really my mission and my cause. That's really what's behind.
So I appreciate
Umbo.
you. I love mentoring. It's not training quarterbacks; it's mentoring them.
Yes.
You want to mentor health, which is really, I can see in your heart. It's not about the what the product can do to help heal you or help you, and that's what I appreciate that about a former player with your platform. We're talking about health right now.
Yeah.
Okay, folks. Money aside, I want to make you better so you can be better for your family, for your friends, or for your team from that standpoint.
Yeah, and there's the game of football still going on.
Sure is.
And I cringe when I see these dudes smash their head and they get up, and they're fighting hard to not go sit down and lose the chance to stay on the field. They probably have a mild concussion, and it's like the damage is still going on, even though we were told it's a safer game. Maybe it is for the quarterback, but otherwise, these dudes are still smashing themselves. They're still hitting the ground with their heads. Other sports, soccer has a higher level of concussions, hockey, boxing, MMA. Our other partner in this is Rashad Evans, Hall of Famer in the UFC. So we are out there to spread this message for good. And I just am grateful for the ability to come out here, and it's always fun to see you guys.
No, I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Last time you were here for the 20-year anniversary with Pat Tillman run, right? And then you were the Fiesta Bowl Grand Marshal. So you've been
I
get an opportunity to come down here.
This is part of who I am.
Sure.
I came here as an 18-year-old, and we had a couple real phenomenal
years. Do you have a fake ID or
what? I never went out ever until I was 21. I came down here. 97 was a phenomenal year. That year, 96, getting to the Rose Bowl, 97, and then 98 with the Cardinals, another phenomenal year people remember. So I had a great time here. I love it here. I got a lot of great connections, people that I love dearly down here. So I love coming back. It's always
great.
Fun.
Well, it's good to see you. Thank you for making time coming down here to Right Twitter. We appreciate it. We're going to put everything up on our Twitter page, our Instagram page, our Facebook page, how you can get more information about the functional mushrooms and everything we talked about. This interview will be up on our video is up, so you'll be able to. You said a lot of words there. You broke down some stuff. I have no idea. I need AI.
And it's get umbo.com.
Getumbo.com.
Gotcha.
UMBO. You got it.
So we didn't get a chance to speak about the media in the locker room.
Oh, real quick. Let's do it.
If you want to.
Let's do it. Yeah, because I know you have a strong opinion about it. So if you haven't heard, the NFLPA is talking about not allowing reporters to go in the locker room after games. They're not saying that they can't interview guys anymore, but they basically are not going to let reporters go into the locker room after games. Your thoughts on that?
I don't go get naked and shower and dry off in the press room.
That's all you got to say. That's all you got to say. I
never enjoyed that because
as a quarterback, you got pulled out all the time.
Here's a quick story. When I got out of the Kansas City game, when the word was out that if we didn't win, I was going to get benched no matter what happened. Around my locker, I couldn't even move. Every single reporter was hoarding around me, waiting to get that soundbite.
Yeah.
And I had some people that loved me that said, "You got to get out of here. Give him a chance to get undressed and showered and ready to face this thing that he knew was coming." So for me, it's a sacred area to be a teammate in a locker room, especially after a win when you're celebrating, and then even more so after a loss when you got to have that down feeling. I never understood why they would be there, but what really confused me is when they would have all this time to stand there in this little amalgamation of a group with their mics and their notepads. The first question would be like, "What were you thinking on that throw when you threw an interception?" That's your first question? You just said, I could think of 10 better questions, and I haven't even thought yet about a question to ask myself. So for me, it's like the media is part of it. I respect the media. I know that they drive this game. They're an essential part of it, but I like that they're getting out of the locker room because it's kind of weird, especially when there's females in the locker room. That's not right.
That was weird.
That's the weirdest thing. This is a place of this is a place where we should be allowed to be with our team and our coaches.
It's your office.
That's
you don't need to be in your office.
Yeah, I don't come into the press conference room and put my underwear on and put lotion on and get ready.
But as a starting quarterback and a leader of your team, both in college and in the NFL, the quarterback's the one that always gets pulled.
Yeah.
Anyway, and you were okay with that. That's part of the job. because
Totally.
you had to take the good and the bad,
Totally, man.
especially some Cardinal teams.
And that's how you earn respect when you
Yeah.
stand up on the mic and say,
Yeah.
I was bad today,
Yeah.
and I'm going to get better. And then you come back next week and you are better. That's how you earn that respect.
I think
So,
there's a time and place. After a game, go have a location. During the week, if they're going to come along after practice or whatever, more of a
But they don't even allow that anymore.
well, they aren't, but some do. But a lot of the reporters miss that because they don't get that one-on-one interaction.
yeah.
I mean, there's got to be some kind of a give and take here.
Maybe give us a little more time.
Yeah, that'd be
You know,
good.
because
Yeah.
there is like that little, there's 6 minutes or something, and
Yeah,
then they're
that's
in
it.
there. And I mean, I'm still like breathing heavy. And they're standing there waiting for me. And I'm like,
So-called cool down time, right?
yeah, like give
Oh.
us a minute to just decompress. Because sometimes the things were said that maybe you would decompress and have a chance to like, okay.
Yes. Shouldn't
And
have said
instead
that.
of getting that hot take when someone's hot off of
Oh.
an interception pick six that lost the game, and then the guy says, Jake, what were you thinking when you threw that ball? And you want to punch him in his face,
Yeah,
but you can't. And if you do, you're in trouble.
yeah.
I don't know. Anyway,
it kind of reminds me. Remember, Ryan Leaf kind of blew up.
Yeah.
right? Yeah. It kind of reminds me of
I
that.
mean, I have my moments with the media, but hey, it's all good. The NFL does what it does as long as the beast keeps growing.
You got it, Jake. Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you,
it.
guys.
That's
Great
Jake Plummer
times.
joining us here on Fox Sports 910. We'll take a quick one and come back and wrap up today.
This is the Parker & Sons Weather Center. For all your AC, plumbing, and electric needs, call Parker.
Tonight, look for mostly clear skies. Temperatures